in the morning he woke up and he said that he would have one more piece of some more pain relief and then he would let go. And he said goodbye to the children and to myself. And I don't think I really understood the depth of love until then. And he died a magnificent death. And just before he died, I could see my daughter got really scared in the last few minutes. And I can remember from my work, it was the most predominant emotion will pat in the room. You know, and I didn't want fear to be the last emotion that was carrying Adi out. And I can remember just going to thank you, thank you, thank you. So I was lying in bed with him, holding him. And when I emerged from that, and Adi died during that few minutes, the whole room, everyone was just in this, like this chorus of thank you, thank you, thank you. And what mattered most in the months that followed was kindness, people's kindness. And I now, so that's nearly 8 years ago now, and I now absolutely in my global peace work know that if I can sit with someone and listen to their story with nothing but loving kindness, then something profound shifts in them. And they can go back and have different dialogue and different conversations. And in some of our work that might mean putting down arms. So there's something really powerful about loving kindness. And that's how Chris came back into my life. Because one Sunday afternoon, a rainy Sunday afternoon, I'm not sure how long Adi had been dead, but there was a knock at the door and it was Chris and another really beautiful male friend, Jamie Wood. We've been friends for a long time. And they had toolboxes in their hands. And they said, there must be stuff that needs to be done around the house by now. And there were. Like a painting had fallen off the wall and a door had dropped and was creaky and just stuff. And it was these two gorgeous men in the late 50s, early 60s then, just standing there like beaming, they'd just come to help out. Just that's it, just to offer care, really. And during the course of that day, I was saying to Chris that I knew I kept on needing to move my body. I didn't want the grief to get stuck. Both grief but elation, because I'd witnessed a soul journey, a death that was so remarkable, that was beautiful, full of grace. And everyone, including my children, just kept on going, Mum, is that normal? Is that normal? Is that normal death? It's like, no, that's not a normal death. That's what death can be like. Anyway, so I said to Chris, I want to dance. And I was doing a lot of yoga and a lot of walking and a lot of being quiet. But I also really wanted to laugh. I wanted to laugh. And in some ways you're not allowed to be too happy. It's like you've just lost your husband, or your husband just died in your arms. This joy at the miracle of death and life. How do you talk about that when your life has just fallen apart? How do you just talk about seeing the essence of God and yet being in deep grief, at the same time? Anyway, Chris and I went dancing and it was great, and I tried to matchmaking with all my single girlfriends, so I'd invite them all to come dancing as well. And over quite a few months, and then we were learning how to salsa. And salsa's got a lovely energy. It's a beautiful, energetic dance. And when we were dancing, you'd have many partners all night, and you'd go around in a circle, swapping and just trying different partners. And one night they said, if you really want to learn to dance quickly, then go to Cuba. So I went round the circle and I got back to Chris and I went, I'm going to go to Cuba. I'm going to go to Cuba and learn how to dance. And then I went round the circle again, and this time when I got round that circle, I smelt Chris Rees. Like, he's been a friend for 30 plus years, and I've always loved him, but he was just my friend. But I smelt the man. And I suppose I wasn't even really that conscious of that, but I can definitely look back now, and the way that I would describe it now is like smelling salts into my feminine. His masculinity, and it was probably hot and sweaty actually if I think about it. His masculinity was smelling salts to my femininity. And yeah, we went to Cuba together. We did another round. And when we got back, he said, I'll come to Cuba with you. I was like, yay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, and we went to Cuba and we danced together and just had a fabulous, fabulous time. Yeah, now we've been married since 2013. And he asked me to marry him on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, which was pretty cool. And all I can say is that my first marriage with Adrian, especially during his death, taught me how to love really deeply. More importantly, I didn't get how to receive love until Adrian was dying. And I think his death, and just how profound his death was, and how amazing he was during his death, the talking us through what was happening, and the excitement that he felt, the grace that he died with, cracked my man-made egoic self-limiting self-beliefs that stopped love. And now what I would say, nearly 9 years later, is that love is definitely the core. And to truly love, we have to both give and receive. And we can't do that if we're in our heads and in our own way. But maybe something like loving kindness to another human being, deep listening, like you're doing now, to another human being, that's a portal that this other essence can flow. And when you sit with someone in this way, and you really, really listen to them, you can't help but fall in love with them. And their stuff vanishes, and your stuff melts, and there is something that is profoundly beautiful that happens.